gentlemen. I appreciate you having me.
We're now going to turn to a supporter of the California Congresswoman and fellow member of the Golden State delegation, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell. Congressman, let me ask you this. You're woman one, Nancy Pelosi, going to lead your party again in the House, but she lost a third of the caucus. So what do you think she should take as the message from that large block of dissenters from having her lead the caucus again going forward?
Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you, Mark. First time on. And our leader won. She earned the trust of 68% of her colleagues. She said that she had 66%, shows she came in a little bit higher than she expected. It shows that she can still count and she can still lead us forward. So I think a good day for Democrats and now unifying and going forward to defend the progress we've made on the Affordable Care Act, climate change, and Wall Street reform, and also craft a message that can connect with all Americans going forward.
Congressman, I appreciate that answer, but it didn't answer my question, which was what Nancy Pelosi should take from the fact that a third of the caucus voted against her.
Well, I look at it as over two-thirds voted for her, and I think this was a healthy exercise for the caucus, and she still has overwhelming support from the party. And I hope the people that voted against her, and I believe they will step up and help us in an all-hands-on-deck effort to shape what's next.
Congressman, thanks for being on. Can you think of any issues on which Leader Pelosi is more liberal than working class voters typically are in places like Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan?
Working class voters want an economy that's going to work for all of us. So I think the work that she did, especially around Wall Street reform, really matters to working class people. They just want a fair shot. And right now you're seeing Donald Trump putting out a plan to unravel Dodd-Frank. Instead of draining the swamp, he's refilling it with recycled water by putting Wall Street executives and D.C. insiders in his cabinet. And so I think our message is going to connect with those voters.
Right. Again, I'll just say, are there any issues you can name just one, where you think she might be to the left of the voters who helped Donald Trump get elected in those states?
Yeah, and I think the voters, they're electing representatives in their own community. And this is not about one person, representing every part of the Democratic Party. I think she's going to rely on different people in our party to go across the country and carry that unifying message of an opportunity for all of us. So I reject the idea that this is on one person's shoulders. She has given opportunities to people like me. Look, I was first in my family to go to college. I came to Congress with $100,000 in student loan debt, and she said, go talk to all the millennials about issues from people who have the same issues and take other young members and do it. We created a group called Future Forum. We went to 31 cities, and we have legislation to help lift 40 million people out of student loan debt. So she's trusting other members in our caucus to not just have her be the leader, but for all of us to play a role.
So, Congressman, let me ask you this question that I asked Michael Steele, which is it your view that the way Democrats should approach Donald Trump and his agenda is the way that Republicans in Congress approach Barack Obama and his agenda, which is to say, cooperate with nothing, oppose at every quarter? Or do you think you should try to make common cause with Trump where you can find areas of agreement?
Well, first, I think we have to recognize that Donald Trump is a man who has no core set of principles. He is willing to say one thing and do another. And so, it's very hard to tell what he truly believes in. But if he truly does believe in reforming and upgrading our country's transportation and infrastructure networks, then I think we can work with him. But if what he means by that is just corporate tax breaks and no real investments from the federal government, then I don't see us being able to work with him on that. If he is sincere about campaign finance reform and repealing Citizens United and taking outside money out of politics, we can work with him on that, and we should work with him on that.
All right. Congressman Swalwell, thank you for coming on the show, making your first appearance and doing a pretty nice job. Up next, more on